particularly across northern Britain. Unseasonably strong winds that could cause some significant disruption. Stay up to date with the forecast this weekend.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed boilers. Sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good evening. This is the latest AI travel news from GBNews.com. The A86 is closed at Malagan due to an incident, so motorists should find alternatives. Closures affect the A40 between Gibraltar Tunnels and Mitchell-Troy for maintenance. A broken-down vehicle impacts the M6 northbound between junctions 18 and 19 in Cheshire. Watch for the M54 eastbound collision at the Junction 2 slip in Staffordshire. Significant delays are on the M25 anti-clockwise entry slip at Junction 12, with 10 minutes added during peak hours. And on the trains, there's cross-country disruption between Worcestershire Parkway and Cheltenham Spa, and Great Northern disruption between London and Stevenage. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year. We'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 29th of August. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Lee Anderson's Real World. Tonight on the show we have former Conservative Member of Parliament Heather Wheeler. She'll be going head-to-head with political commentator Benjamin Butterworth. We've got multi-tradesman Steve Baker and top international chef Ben Harris. But first, let's go to the news.
Good evening. The top stories from the GB newsroom. Lenders appear to have avoided potentially having to pay compensation to millions of drivers after the Supreme Court ruled they are not liable for hidden commission payments in car finance schemes. The court sided with one of the claimants, a Mr Johnson, and awarded him individual compensation due to the circumstances in his case. Two lenders, First Rand Bank and Close Brothers, went to the UK's highest court to challenge a Court of Appeal ruling which found secret commission payments paid by buyers to car dealers as part of finance arrangements made before 2021 without the motorists fully informed consent were unlawful. It's been revealed that foreign-born prisoners account for 1 in 8 of the total UK jail population. According to official data published for the first time, the number of foreigners in prisons for serious violent, sexual and theft offences has also risen over the past year. And Donald Trump says he's ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions, he says, in a row with former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. It comes after Mr. Medvedev, who is now deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, told the US president on Thursday yesterday to remember that Moscow had Soviet-era nuclear strike capabilities of last resort. Well, today, Mr. Trump wrote on social media, "Based on the highly provocative statements of the former president of Russia, I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements," he says, "are more than just that." The spat between Mr. Trump and Mr. Medvedev came after the US president warned Russia on Tuesday it had 10 days from today to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine or face tariffs along with its oil buyers. And those are the latest headlines for now. More news in an hour.
For the very latest GB News direct to your smartphone, sign up to News Alerts by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/alerts.
Welcome to Lee Anderson's Real World. I'm Lee Anderson, the Reform UK Member of Parliament for Ashfield, and joining me tonight on the show, he's back, the left-wing agitator, Benjamin Butterworth. He's our left in the corner, but the board is missing this week, Benjamin. It's up in Scotland somewhere. And a great friend of the show, Heather Wheeler, former Tory minister. Guys, just this week, Peter Kyle, a Labour minister, made these comments about Nigel Farage. Just take a look at this.
I see that Nigel Farage is already saying that he's going to overturn these laws. So, we have people out there who are extreme pornographers, peddling hate, peddling violence. Nigel Farage is on their side. Make no mistake about it, if people like Jimmy Savile were alive today, he'd be perpetrating his crimes online. And Nigel Farage is saying that he's on their side.
So, Benjamin, before we comment on that clip, my mother thinks you're great, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah,
so there is someone in your family with good judgment.
She needs therapy, she needs treatment, and so we'll be watching this show. But let's go back to the clip. I mean, these comments by Peter Kyle saying that, or suggesting that Nigel was somehow in support of paedophiles and the late Jimmy Savile. Surely he should apologise for this.
I mean, maybe he should apologise when people stop saying that Labour was somehow in bed with grooming gangs, which is a completely unfair thing.
Quick deflection there from the left in the corner.
It's not. I think it was
Please answer the question.
A very unpalatable thing. Look, do I think Nigel Farage supports Jimmy Savile? Obviously not. But the question is, who would benefit from not having these boundaries in online safety? And that would be predators. That would be people that want to exploit kids, and that would also be young people themselves that would see content they shouldn't. So actually, if you're asking who would benefit, well, it would be some pretty dubious people.
Would they benefit, Heather?
Unfortunately, yes. Clearly, the tone was wrong. Clearly, the suggestion of anywhere near Jimmy Savile, he shouldn't have done that. Absolutely, he shouldn't have done that. But actually, the principle of what he's saying is totally correct. Now, what I'm really more worried about is that some of the censorship that's happened so far is clearly wrong. How can you censor somebody who's actually been speaking in Parliament? So you can watch it on Parliament TV, but you can't watch it on X or YouTube. That's clearly wrong. And what Kyle needs to be doing is getting hold of the tech companies and saying, and getting hold of Ofcom. And yet again, Ofcom needs to do their job. And that's where this has gone wrong. It's teething problems. It needs to get sorted.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the old act needs ripping up.
No.
Well, it does, Heather. I'll come back to Benjamin, because we talk about safety for children. Everybody wants to see safety for our children online, but our children are much more savvy than what we are, and they can find ways of bypassing this straight away with their own VPNs. They can, when little Johnny's upstairs in his bedroom on his computer, Mum and Dad do not know what he's looking at, and they are very, very skillful. They're very clever, and once one finds a loophole or a way round, all the mates in their class and the school did exactly the same thing. So it's a complete waste of time.
Well, so VPNs are these things that let you pretend that you're someone or somewhere else. So yeah, it's true that tech-savvy teens...
So what's the point then?
That. Well, first of all, at least that's a barrier that's not there at the moment. But secondly, that can be fixed, right? So in order to get one of these VPNs, you need to pay for it. So I'm not sure how many teenagers actually will have card access to be able to buy one of those things. But of course, you can also just say that if you're under 18, then you can't get one of those bypasses. That's easily fixed. And I think, you might not love that, but I think that matters more than the idea that right now you've got 12-year-olds, whether by accident of algorithm or on purpose, seeing things that can really mess their minds up.
But once you get these VPNs, Heather, that opens other doors as well. We've got the dark web lurking around in the background, which is much more dangerous than the normal web.
Well, I think that it's been a real wake-up call. So the tech companies were on side with the bill. They'd agree. I mean, this has taken about 3.5 years to get through Parliament. So it was a real tough slog. Can you imagine the minister having to go out to California a lot? Must have been awful.
Yeah,
but more than that, now that we're finding where the glitches are, that's where it would be useful for Farage and you guys, and obviously our front bench as well, to really get into it and sort out the glitches, because it is definitely the right act. I don't agree with you that the action...
OK, Benjamin, this is a can of worms, this is. I don't think we can ever police or monitor the internet successfully. I just don't think we can do it because it's like I just said with the VPNs, there's always going to be a way where young people or whoever can circumnavigate the whole system and get to find what they're actually looking for.
Look, there'll always be people that find a way around stuff. That's true of probably every law in the land. But what I'd say to you is, why are you content to sit back and just let kids access dangerous material, whether it's pornographic, whether it's violent, whether it's things like encouraging them to be anorexic or suicidal? Why are you happy to sit in Parliament and just say, oh, well, we can't do anything about that?
Well, that's not true, is it, Benjamin?
Well, I'm trying to work out.
Well, show me the proof. Show me the money. How is that true?
Well, you just said that you think you can never solve it and you shouldn't...
Well, I don't think you can. I think we should do our level best to try and protect young people online, but will you stop? It's like the gangs, it's like smashing the gangs, it's like smashing the drug trade. We're never going to win this war unless...
Sounds like you've given up, Lee.
No. Unless, Benjamin, we have proper consequences to people's actions online. Heather.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are huge fines. I mean, we're not talking £50,000 fines.
But fines
we're talking £5 million.
They're not big enough, Heather, are they?
A £5 million fine is pretty chunky. I mean, it's a percentage. It's also a percentage of their turnover. Yeah. So, I mean, it really is big stuff. And I think that the Googles of this world are as embarrassed as anybody else that this should not be happening. But I genuinely think this is an opportunity for Ofcom to shine. And if Ofcom can get this right, then maybe they'll stay. But if they don't get this right, then the same thing I think is going to happen to them that happens with Ofcom.
Benjamin, can Ofcom get it right?
Well, I do think one valid question is it's really difficult to try and regulate through Ofcom all of these different websites and social media platforms, because the sheer scale of them and the sheer ease to create new websites is extremely difficult. So I think Ofcom probably isn't big enough at the moment to do that. But you can't just give up on something that I think is such a threat to our social fabric.
Nobody's given up. You're just twisting words again. Nobody's given up.
But hang on, but you're saying that you think that... You did say that I don't think you should monitor the internet in this way.
No, I didn't.
I'm sure you did. So what? Well, it was filmed, so we're in luck.
Yeah.
So what would you do if not this?
Look, I asked the questions on this show, Benjamin, not you. The big tech companies...
I'm not a politician.
The big tech companies, Heather, are they doing enough?
Apparently not. And also, apparently... I don't want it to look like they were paying lip service, because if they were paying lip service, then I would come down on them like a ton of bricks, because we are beyond free speech on this. I know it's not something you've mentioned, and we hold that as a dear, dear thing.
Yeah.
But we started with this, with the appalling stuff about anorexia and encouraging people to take their own lives. I mean, these young 13-year-olds, 15-year-olds that killed themselves. That's where all this started from. And it came from... the right thing to do. And I think we have enough brains in our country that we ought to be able to sort this out.
So I think we need bigger penalties, Benjamin. I remember about 4 years ago, I had to take legal action against Google. In fact, you can Google this if you want to.
Or ask Jeeves.
Somebody put an advert online to say that Lee Anderson protects paedophiles. It was something like that, or Lee Anderson's office protects paedophiles. This was actually shown to me, Heather, by my whip at the time. I forgot her name now. What's that? My memory's going.
So Whip's doing a good job.
Whip's doing a good job, yeah, pastoral care. And I just thought nothing of it. And she actually, it was Maggie through.
Right.
And she says, no, you need to do something about this. You need to take it further. So I consulted a solicitor. He says, this is bad. This is really, really bad. It actually went on the Guido Fawkes as a pop-up advert, and it was popping up everywhere on the internet.
That's terrible.
So I contacted Guido. They said, oh, well, sorry, took it down straight away. Apparently somebody had paid, well, I know it was, they'd paid maybe £10, £20 to put this advert on the internet, and it just comes up as a banner all over different websites everywhere. So the sort of websites that my supporters would go on. It's very clever how they do it. So my solicitor wrote to Google, and they says, no, clear off. And it took about a year of actually getting them to own up and apologise, and in the end, I went to the High Court in London, and they apologised to me for it, and they paid my legal fees. And this is how difficult it is, Benjamin, to take on the big tech companies. If I had not had a political party behind me and a barrister who did it on a no-win, no-fee, I'd have lost that.
Doesn't that illustrate why you need this law, though? Because if you didn't have resource and the benefit of a parliamentary team, you would have never have even noticed and been able to take action on that. And the other thing is that the way this advertising works is that if somebody searches for something, in your case, your own name, then they will see lots of adverts and responses everywhere. So if you've got a teenager, for example, who had contemplated anorexia, looking to lose weight in an unhealthy way, that kid could then see those adverts and see those reports on absolutely every website they go on. That's why I think you need a law, you need the government, and you need these fines, because not everyone can take...
But what about education, Ed? I think our young people need educating more to the dangers of the internet. We used to teach children not to talk to strangers, didn't we?
And how to cross the road properly and things like that. Absolutely. But I do wonder, you know, you almost started off this piece by saying the kids know more than the parents when they do. So do the kids know more than their teachers? That's the worry, isn't it? So who is actually going to be able to get to the teacher? But Ofcom has a complete section that deals with this, and I want them to step up. And I'm 99% sure they will have a right go at this. This is the sort of thing that will mean that they can bloom instead of people just going, oh God, it's Ofcom again.
Yeah. Final words, Benjamin. It's stuck for words, that's the first.
Well,
what would you do if you could wave your magic political wand? What would you do today?
Well, I think I would do what's happened, which is to say that there is a legal requirement on these companies and they'll face a serious fine. And, you know, let's come back in 12 months, sit here and see if it's actually tackled the problem. And if it's not, maybe you're right, but I wouldn't get your hopes up.
Well, that's that debate over. We've not come to an amicable conclusion. I'm going to disagree with the both of them. I normally just disagree with Benjamin, but today it's both Heather and Benjamin. But coming up next, we've got Real World, Real People with Steve Baker.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, just like week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
It's time for Real World, Real People. I've got Stephen Baker here today. You're a multi-trader tradesman. Correct. With a keen interest on anti-trades tool theft, is that right?
Correct, yeah.
God, that's a mouthful, isn't it, really? You've got some gadgets here, Stephen, because you're quite keen on tool theft and how to stop tool theft. But how did you get interested in this?
So I found myself a couple of years ago, I found myself a victim of tool theft. Parked up outside a hotel. Done all the precautions you normally do, try and get your van underneath a CCTV camera, back it up to another car so your rear doors are protected. And then I was a victim, 9 o'clock at night, 22 seconds to get in the van, 4.5 minutes to empty it, gone. Everything you've ever worked for, everything you build up for, gone. Found myself in a really rocky position because I was in a hire vehicle, so my tool cover insurance, which was a separate policy, wouldn't pay out. Found there was no way forward and nearly took my own life.
Wow. It's a pretty gruesome way to get into this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's there is a big passion for this from me, yeah.
So tell me, you know, I see people go to car boot sales, they go to market stores, flea markets, whatever, feel pretty proud of themselves when they walk off that car boot sale with a nice new power tool or tools. Say, look what I've got here for 20 quid. But actually, a lot of the time, that's been stolen from somebody's van, garage, shed.
I mean, I would like to me personally say, 100% of the time, those tools are stolen. Yeah. You will find John, for argument's sake, selling a couple of old drills or something, but you can see they're legit. When you turn up at car boot sales, you see a tarpaulin rolled out, and there is hundreds, if not close to thousands, worth of power tools, all top brands as well, which aren't cheap. All going for cheap, you know they've got to come from somewhere. 9 times out of 10, they're stolen.
So how do we stop that? But you've got some gadgets here, haven't you?
Yeah, this is one procedure you can stop it. So this is a product, Selected DNA, brought out for tool marking. In each pack here, so this is a pillow pack we call. These are what we hand out when we do our tool marking events. So normally these are retailed at £60 in certain merchants. But if you're smart enough, you'll come to one of our tool marking events and you'll actually get one of these for nothing.
But does that actually stop the tools being stolen?
So no, tell a lie. This wouldn't stop your van being broken into. This wouldn't stop the thieves running away with it. What this does is that when the police recover the tools, and believe it or not, they have recovered millions of pounds worth of
police in
tools.
this country?
Believe it or not, they have.
Right, okay. That's the first.
We've seen it with ourselves, warehouses that are full of crates of power tools, containers, stuff like that, but they're not marked. Yeah. So there's no way of formally identifying them and returning them back to their rightful owner. So this procedure here is for when the police do seize the tools, basically. Okay. So in this pillow pack, you'll get a bottle, a little card, stuff like that. This little bottle will do 50 tools, and in the bottle you have a ton of microdots, basically.
Microdots?
Microdots.
Yeah.
So on a microdot, on a tool, if you look on the demo here, it looks like a speck of dirt. You wouldn't even question it. But
and that's a microscope, is it?
That's a microscope. So then when the police see it, under a UV light, it shines up. It's blue.
And then it's stolen.
And then they'll know it's stolen.
And there's a number on there as well.
Yeah, so on the microdot, there is a number. Each bottle was a unique code, was a DNA.
Yeah.
So if you've marked this, for example, with this bottle, you've marked that product, that microdot will have that code on that microdot.
But don't the thieves have these as well, these ultraviolet lights?
Yes and no. I mean...
If I was a thief, and by the way I'm not, and I wanted to steal some power tools which I could sell on easily, which I wouldn't, I'd take one of these with me.
If you was a smart thief, a lot of them aren't.
Yeah.
A lot of them want quick turnarounds to get rid of going. So by the time you've nicked the tools and you've got them out to someone to sell them at a car boot, they're not looking at, oh, is that one marked? They're looking at 20 quid. Yeah, all right, take that. Go on. And now it's not their problem.
Yeah, okay. So I'm looking at these now. Great ideas, by the way, Steve. But why aren't the manufacturers or the retailers using this technology on the tools when they sell them?
So certain retailers are selling this as an individual product.
Yeah.
Big retailers such as, one of the examples, Wix, they have it on a shelf, you can buy it individually. A lot of the tool manufacturers, in some way, without sounding harsh to them, but they're benefiting from the tool theft.
From the theft.
Because if...
They're creating the market, aren't they?
Yeah, it's crediting the market, so correct. So if I have my tool stolen, and if you're a true tradesman, you won't go and buy stolen tools again.
Yeah.
You'd go out and buy new again.
Yeah.
So by buying new again, you're funding the market for their tools, basically, to be sold.
Wow, vicious circle, isn't it?
It is a vicious circle, but unfortunately, it's the way we live now. Now, we're trying to nip this in the bud as best we can. I'm not going to sit here and big it up and say...
Yeah, well, I've had tradesmen in the past contact me in my role as a member of Parliament, say they've had the van broken into. That's the livelihood gone. I mean, the people that do this, I mean, they just got no thought at all.
But you're not just nicking a drill. You're nicking a way of... I would say man, but it's not. It's a multi-purpose, male and female industry now, but... You're nicking a person's way of supplying for their family, putting food on the table for their kids.
Yeah.
So you're nicking their career away from them. If you're in an office job and you have a laptop stolen, 9 times out of 10, within 24 hours, you've got a new laptop, click of a button, it's all updated, your laptop's back to how it was.
Saved in a cloud or something now, but...
With your tool,
I see
it takes years to...
In Ashfield, it happens where bloke's been at work all day, whether there's a plumber, a joiner, or a lecky, or whatever he does. He's probably done a 12-hour shift, come home, had his supper, gone to bed, and some low-life parasite is lurking around at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, probably been in bed all day, and they're breaking into vans and then selling these for whatever they need.
Yeah, and they're going for next to nothing, and that's a scary thing. And as well, there's loads of precautions you can do. I mean, you can, for argument's sake, take your tools in at night. We would always recommend it.
What about having a large Alsatian in the back of the van?
Well, that would probably work as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, they say to you, take your tools in. What if you're on the 14th floor of a block of flats?
That's hard, isn't it?
And you've got, and 9 times out of 10, the equipment you'll take out nowadays is quite big, bulky equipment to get the job done quicker. We invest in these bigger bits of equipment to speed up the process, to earn money quicker, to make things quicker for everyone.
Yeah.
But if you're on the 14th floor, for argument's sake, you're not going to want to lug your tools in and out every morning.
No, you're not.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, I do personally, but I've lost now 2 hours of my day, every day, by loading them in the morning, unloading them in the evening.
Yeah.
And you also get it in the ear from the missus because they're everywhere. You know what I mean?
You've got to pay your wages though, mate.
Yeah.
You've got to
well, this is it, but they're
living.
not only just hitting them at night, they're hitting them in broad daylight as well. So when you're set up on site or you set up at a client's house, you've got, for argument's sake, a big mortar saw set up on the front driveway, and you go in quickly just to check if the cut's right.
Okay.
They're lifting them.
Oh, well, that's very interesting. I think the next time I go to a car boot sale, and by the way, I don't go very often, I might take one of those torches with me. I think I'd soon get short thrift one to have some of the traders on there if I carried my ultraviolet light.
Yeah, I mean, look, the police have done a lot of raids on car boot sales. I don't know if you've seen it yourself. They've seized, in one day, they seized about £500,000 worth of tools.
Wow.
And it led them onto multiple sites and properties that they ended up raiding. And tools were found with this product on it, and they were returned within instantly to their...
Stephen, that's been a fascinating discussion. Our time's up.
No worries.
Good luck for the future, but coming up next, we've got right versus left.
Evening, welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. The next few days offer, well, classic changeable summer weather. Some fine conditions for most of us through tomorrow, a bit of rain heading south on Sunday, and then we're keeping our eyes on a storm developing for Monday. Through the day today, we've seen the odd shower here and there, but tending to clear away. Some thicker cloud bringing some patchy rain across Norfolk and Suffolk through the early hours, but most places will be dry and a cooler night with temperatures in rural areas dipping to single figures. Most towns and cities 11 to 14 Celsius. So, for many places, it's a good-looking day on Saturday. Still a bit breezy along these North Sea coasts, but not as brisk as the winds have been through the day today. Still the chance that that breeze could bring 1 or 2 showers across the far northeast of Scotland, but most places will be dry. A fine bright start for Northern Ireland. We'll cloud over here a little bit as we go through the day. Sunny spells for Northern England and Wales. Again, across East Anglia, the small chance of 1 or 2 very light showers through the day. But for the most part, dry, bright, some good spells of sunshine coming through as well. Feeling a little fresh first thing in the morning, certainly, but with the help of a bit of sunshine and with the winds being lighter than today, it'll feel quite pleasant, I suspect, by the afternoon as temperatures get up into the high teens and low 20s, 23, 24, likely across parts of the south. Let's say with those lighter winds, feeling warmer than today on the east coast. In the northwest, it will cloud over a little bit, and we are going to see some rain pushing in here through the night, making for a damp start for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Pretty quickly, though, that rain pulls away from here, spreading into Northern England, Wales and the Midlands by lunchtime, and then parts of East Anglia and the southeast, although the far southeast may stay dry until quite late on. That's from this weather front. That clears through, and then look at this. This is a developing area of low pressure, named Storm Floris by the Met Office. We're concerned about the winds on Monday, particularly across northern Britain. Unseasonably strong winds that could cause some significant disruption. Stay up to date with the forecast this weekend.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It's time for Right versus Left with my mum's new favourite Benjamin Butterworth and my old former Tory colleague Heather Wheeler. Look guys, we've got another clip to look at now. This is Donald Trump this week making some, I think, reasonable comments about Mayor Khan. Have a look at this.
I'm not a fan of your mayor. Why not? I think he's done a terrible job, the mayor of London, but a nasty person. I think he's a friend of mine. No, I think he's done a terrible job. But I would certainly visit London. Yeah.
Right, Benjamin, over to you. You're going to defend Mayor Khan on this. Do you agree with Donald Trump?
No. Not on anything.
Tell me why. Tell me why.
The only thing I agree with him is that Keir Starmer is a very good Prime Minister, which he also said.
Sense of a straight face.
Didn't put that clip out. But no, I don't. I mean, first of all, I think it's totally inappropriate for a foreign leader to be commenting on British politicians or other domestic politicians. I think that's out of order. But also, why is it he has such a problem with Sadiq Khan? Sadiq Khan is a moderate, middle-of-the-road, centre-left leader, right? He is unremarkable to most other centre-left leaders. But what's the difference? Donald Trump is obsessed with hating Muslims and prominent Muslims.
Before I bring you in, Heather, I want to come back on this nonsense from Benjamin. What about, I think it was about 10 years ago when Trump came to visit us. Mayor Khan in London had this big inflatable effigy of Donald Trump saying he wasn't welcome here. So surely, you know, two could play at that game.
Well, first of all, I don't think it was his effigy, but it was in a protest that Sadiq Khan was at.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you know, I'm glad that London is a place that celebrates everyone and is diverse, and Donald Trump doesn't celebrate that. But really, you know, if this were the other way round, if Donald Trump had come over and said, I hated Mayor of London Boris Johnson, I feel like the same people wouldn't take the same reaction.
Heather, I'm going to come to you now because he's sort of suggesting, Benjamin, is that Mayor Khan's been a good mayor for London. We learnt this week that knife crime has gone gone up by 53% over the past 3 years. London is now known as Stabbed City.
OK, so I'm going to completely disagree with you. Sadiq Khan has been an absolute disaster. He's been a disaster on knife crime. He's been a disaster on building social housing. He's been a disaster on running the budget. He's been a disaster on jobs for the boys. On every political matrix you can imagine. He has been a complete disaster, and there is nobody that can control him. So if it takes Trump to come over here to tell everybody how bad things are going on in London under Khan, then that's fine by me.
I was going to push back on you a little bit there, Heather. He's not found on everything. He's the reason I'm in the Reform Party and now the Reform UK Member of Parliament for Ashford. But over to you, Benjamin. More defence here on Mayor Khan.
Well, first of all, actually, I don't think the Mayor of London has that much power, so there's a limit to how much they could do or undo, as you would put it. But, I mean, social housing and house building is on the up in London now. You've got the situation where the Mayor has taken back new powers, thanks to the Labour government, so that you can open places later, because London is famous for its nightlife. It's what people come here for. And also, I think he's been a great bastion for London. He celebrates its diversity. He welcomes in Europe. You know, the truth is, if he hadn't sacked 20,000 police officers and slashed the budget for police stations, then maybe we wouldn't have rising knife crime in London.
Come on.
That's a nonsense.
Well, it's not a nonsense. Clearly it's affected it. We've seen it all over the country.
No, because crime went down. And the truth is, if crime is down, we do not need that many bobbies. But as it happened...
defending sacking police officers.
Well, they weren't sacked, were they? They just weren't replaced. Wow. I mean, you've got to balance...
20,000 is quite a lot to not replace.
It was over 5 years, so not really.
I mean, it's extraordinary. So you're saying you have a problem with rising knife crime, which everybody should.
Well, we do now.
But then when you're asked why you sacked all the officers and closed all the police stations, you say, oh, well, that couldn't have done it.
So there's another 2 million people living in the country. The demographics of London have changed by all measures. And I'm not surprised that things have changed. Yeah. And things have definitely got worse. I mean, you do not want to walk around London late at night. I wouldn't now.
So people come on this show, Benjamin, that live in London. People like Emma Wolf, who's a regular on this show, and she thinks this city has changed beyond all recognition. She doesn't feel safe to go out at night time. She fears for her little boy, I think he's 5 or 6 years old. She says it's changed beyond recognition.
I mean, I moved to London in 2010 for university, and I have to say, I can't say that it feels more dangerous now than it did back then. But look, I actually really hate the idea of people dumbing down, playing down London. It is the most incredible city. The most talented people from the whole world move here to build businesses.
You're dodging the real issues here, what we're talking about.
I think it's really
knife crime's gone up by 53%, Heather, in the past 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, if you live in the suburbs, and you know, I was brought up in Putney, so, I mean, it was a super place to live, absolutely super place to live. And if you live maybe Westminster, that's okay. But you go to some of the other places, and that village feel that every part of London had, it's not like that anymore.
I mean, I grew up in Manchester, and I would say I feel safer here than I do in Manchester, because there's so many more cameras, so much more visibility, so much more people. Of course, it has knife crime.
I was speaking to some Americans a few weeks ago from New York, and they said they feel safer in New York than they do in London. I mean, you would not have said that 30 years ago.
This is about leadership. So we get back to the point about Khan. I think Khan has absolutely taken his eye off the ball, because he was really behind stopping the stop and searches. And we need people to know that if they're carrying a knife, they're going to get done.
That was Conservative government policy. Theresa May, as Home Secretary, was heavily supportive of stopping stop and search.
I think she was led by other people, and other people then decided that that was not a good idea, and stopping and search came back in.
But this is the problem that I think people have with politicians, which is that you attack Sadiq Khan for rising knife crime on his watch, which is a reasonable criticism, but then you don't take accountability for the police officers going, the stations closing, for the same policy being Conservative government policy. I think then people look at it and say...
Are you talking about the Labour Police and Crime Commission for Birmingham, who's doing exactly that now? If it's not a good idea, why is the Labour Police and Crime Commission for Birmingham doing it?
Well, I'm saying you can't even criticise Theresa May, who was the person that spearheaded it at the centre of government.
She saw sense and changed the policy.
Right, guys, bit feisty. We're going to start the yes or no quiz right now. Heather, we cut this out of the show a few weeks back, and you was very, very agitated, and I know you was. But we're going to do it today, and you know the rules, don't you, Benjamin?
Try.
It's got to be...
I dare not.
By the way, Benjamin, do you like Heather's pearls?
Yes.
Wrong answer. Heather, do you like your pearls?
Yes.
So that's 1-0. Not cheating there, by the way, but the left has got to have it. Benjamin, is the Labour government a threat to free speech?
No.
No.
I'm shocked. I'm stunned. Heather, should Benjamin Butterworth join Reform UK?
Yes.
No.
And Benjamin, is Britain a soft touch?
No.
Yes.
And fifth and final question, do we have a two-tier justice system in the UK, Benjamin?
No.
8.
Yes.
Sorry, Benjamin, I know I've stitched you up there.
I know Reform will take anybody at the moment, but I didn't realise I was invited to the party too.
Well, the Labour Party will take anybody also, and I think you're living proof of that, aren't you? Do you want to come back on, Heather? Which one do you want to come back on? There's one that surprised me, actually. Is this Labour government a threat to free speech? You both agreed that they weren't.
Yeah, mainly because of the furore over this act and cutting down on challenging the tech companies. I think it needs to be tweaked, absolutely, but the principle of it is absolutely correct, and it is actually nothing to do with free speech whatsoever. I don't know why you guys have brought it up as a totemic issue. Okay. I think you're on the wrong side of history here. I genuinely do.
Well, I mean, I definitely think that Middle England realises that, you know, their kids and their teenagers are seeing stuff that they shouldn't, and all too many of them know people who've ended up in terrible situations because of where the internet has sent them. So yeah, I think you're definitely on the wrong side. On the free speech question in other ways, there's been no significant change under this government to the rules under the previous ones. Yeah. And so I think the idea that there's been some catastrophe is quite unfair.
I think what people think, Benjamin, people who I speak to back in the real world, is when they see people like Lucy Connolly jailed for 3 years. Okay. Yep. They sort of think, well, nobody on the Labour front bench or the Labour Party spoke up, in support of this lady.
I agree with you that there's two-tier policing. I really do, and that is a concern. But again, let's highlight that. Let's not say this act has got anything to do with that. And I genuinely don't believe that.
And Benjamin, the other question, number 3, I think it was, should Benjamin join Reform UK?
I mean, look, I know it looks like there's going to be lots of people getting seats very easily if they do join, so it's very tempting often, Lee. I didn't anticipate it. But
where would you stand? Would you stand in Manchester?
I was going to say something, I won't say that.
Come on, say it, Benjamin, come on.
Well, no, I mean, the Labour Party had suggested places to me before, including nearly running against Esther McVeigh, because that's the seat I'm from, which was very nearly a Labour seat. And I think the last election would have been the only time Tatton would have gone Labour.
I think that's a reformy type area now, that seat, don't you, Heather?
I think she's fighting it hard enough for the True Blues.
Yeah, I think she is. But going back to Mayor Khan and what Donald Trump said about Mayor Khan, there's lots of people in this country actually agree with him, Heather.
People do remember that awful blow-up blimp, and he celebrated having a go. But then so has half of the front bench, haven't they? The Labour front bench. I mean, what Lammy said about Trump must have been absolutely astonishing. Absolutely astonishing.
I think it's not great for a foreign secretary to have expressed such strong views on a foreign leader before. But do you know what? If anybody, if that were the rule for being a senior politician, then that would also exclude Donald Trump, because he's expressed a strong view on everything.
Heather, congratulations, you're the winner. Sorry, Benjamin, for stitching you up. You should know better.
I hope your mum's...
Coming up next, we've got celebrity chef Ben Harris. Do not go away.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
If you or anyone you know is heading further afield this weekend, it's going to be very wet in northern Italy and Slovenia. Fine elsewhere, just 1 or 2 showers for the Canaries, a brisk breeze for Madeira. That breeze actually bringing some warmth to Portugal and to parts of Spain as well. But it's for northern Italy into Slovenia, parts of Croatia. We're going to see some very wet weather over the next few days, that transferring southeast into parts of Greece early next week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point.
Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Well, that sounds like last orders at the bar. I've got Ben Harris with me. He's a top chef, top international, world famous chef. Oh, at least it tells me that anyway. But Ben, we were talking earlier about food waste in this country. How much food do we waste in this country every year?
Well, in a sentence, too much. And a lot of that's down to habits and routines that people have got. I used to do a lot of work with Love Food, Hate Waste. Yes. We used to take a truck around the country with a random set of ingredients and things that people would normally throw away, particularly like cooked rice, vegetable ends like broccoli stems, things like that. Yeah. And also like just bits and bobs that people leave in the bottoms of packets. You know, like
there's lots of stuff lurking around in your cupboards and in your fridge.
Yeah, always. I mean, people have always got some spices that could probably be done with throwing away, you know, in the little pots that have been there for a few years. Get rid of those. But like when it comes to actual ingredients, one thing that does bother me is like when people buy a bag of salad or something, and you know they'll use 99% of it and just leave a little bit in the bottom and throw that away. But also we overbuy. The 2-for-1 deals that we've got going on in the supermarkets, you know, they're not good for the farmers a lot of the time, because it means that the farmers are forced to sell.
Let me just ask you one thing, Ben, because I want you to settle an argument I've had between a friend and I have got friends watching. I've been telling my friend that frozen vegetables like peas and carrots and whatever you get in Lincolnshire, wherever is better for you than the local greengrocer.
Is better for you than the local
because they've had to ship it from there. They've had to go on a lorry, go into the market. It's probably on their store for 2 or 3 days when the vegetables are frozen straight away. This is what I've been told by a professor.
I mean, freezing anything cold is generally not good for a lot of fruit and veg, particularly tomatoes and anything that's got citrus in it. You put
I'm talking about peas and
well, any like peas are very high in vitamin C as well. Carrots are more like vitamin D, and there's processes that you have to go through for them as well. There's more nitrogen in the bags. You may not be getting 100% cold frozen. They may put a little bit of spray or something that's got some kind of preservative in it. It's normally got some kind of nitrogen in it. Like I mean,
I might be corrected on that.
Even look, I mean, this pack of
where's it going?
This packet of nuts that we've got right here. This isn't air in the bag. This is nitrogen that keeps it alive. And nitrogen is not great for you to consume as a product. Like if you're eating something fresh out the ground that's at the right temperature, that's been presented to you as a farmer plucked it, and it's just been cleaned. There's no way that this has got less in it than something that's been processed and frozen.
Okay.
Don't be afraid of frozen food. I mean, one of the really great things that we've got at the moment, actually, if you want to save good money, is like wonky veg.
Wonky veg? What's that?
Wonky veg. It's in supermarkets. Everybody's buying the perfect straight carrots, perfectly round apples, and so there's a huge market for fruit that's wonky.
Okay.
Wonky, like an apple that's got an extra ripple
like
on
banana.
it. A bent carrot, things like that. These are the kind of things that are getting bought up now in mass amounts by producers of chutneys.
Because one time they used to throw these away, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they'd fill up landfills. They weren't even feeding to the animals at one point. It's terrible. Food waste in this country.
But tell me about teaching children how to cook in schools. Because I think, as a politician and as someone who visits schools on a regular basis, that is so important.
Kids need confidence.
Yeah.
And every kid's worth something. Every single kid is worth something. I don't care how bad they are in school. I don't care what they've got going on inside themselves. They have all got something inside to give.
Yeah.
And it's our responsibility as adults to find that out. And academic and sport comes too easy to a lot of kids. That's where they fly. Some will just pick up the books and they'll obviously be a star student.
Yeah.
Sport is another one that comes completely obviously. So there's a waste side, which is a bunch of kids that watch other kids excelling. And don't have that self-confidence about what they can do, and it's becoming a less and less of a thing to look out for that. When I go into these schools, I set up a classroom and I treat every kid the same. I set up a lesson as a cooking class that I would do for adults, and I work through them class by class over the course of a week, over the course of a day, and I always notice that the kids that are less confident by the end of the class, they start to get into it. You see them coming out of themselves, and you see that, and those are the ones that actually deserve a little bit more cause and effect in the explanation, so that they know how to improve that as they move on in life. Does that make sense? I think it's really.
I think what you're trying to say is, like I always say on the show, that every child is good at something.
Absolutely.
You've got to find what it is.
You just have to find out what it is. You've got to bring it out of them. Every kid is worth something, man.
Because we do. I mean, I've been in hot water in the past, Ben, as I spoke to you earlier, about helping families cook on a budget.
Yep.
I did this cooking on a budget thing with a local chef, Chef David, in my patch, where we was batch cooking, and we was just using ingredients from the local how he was cooking from scratch, and we made loads of meals for really cheap, good meals as well, a lot better than the stuff you're getting in the local takeaways or the McDonald's or whatever. Proper food.
The thing about takeaway food now is it's really accessible. If you're
on your phone.
Well, yeah, it's that, and also if you're working two jobs and you've got 6 kids and you're living in a 2-bedroom house, like what else are you going to feed them? You might not have the time necessarily to do that. The thing is, now the kind of meals that you're getting from those kind of places, not only are they incredibly bad for you, they're getting smaller and smaller as people are getting priced out. So nutrition's taking another hit there. How do you get around that? It's a really good question.
So I've got a quick question for you then. Your phone rings and it's me saying, Ben, I'm on my way. I'll be 2 minutes. You promised me a meal tonight. You forgot all about it. What would you rustle up in a couple of 3 minutes?
This is my absolute specialty.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do food demos all over the country. I'm actually flying from here to Scotland at 2 o'clock. to go and do more demos where they've got a fridge full of ingredients ready for me. One of my favourite things to do on the fly is meatballs. Meatballs are so easy. Mince, everybody buys mince and then it sits in the fridge for ages and they don't know what to do with it. Meatballs, you know, you need the mince out, you don't even need to season it, pop it in the pan, then you season it as you go. You can add a sauce to it, you can put the meatballs in a sandwich.
Sounds nice.
You can, I'm a pasta guy, fresh pasta guy. I was trained as a pastaiolo out in Italy, so I'm in a carbonara.
Do you speak the language?
I speak Spanish. Hablo español ahora. No, like my mother's so ashamed. Yeah, my mother's from Masacarada, and she doesn't. I used to speak Italian when I was a little kid.
So you're a letdown.
Spanish,
basically a letdown.
Pretty much. Yeah, she's also a chef, you know.
Dear me. Look, mate, you obviously know how to prepare a meal. We're going to see now if you can prepare a pint. I've got a pint pot there.
You got a pint pot here?
Yeah, and are you a drinker, Ben?
I mean, I've been known to. I'm a chef after all.
Okay, so we've got the neck oil here. You've got 30 seconds to pull the perfect pint and plonk it on the bar.
All right.
And whilst you're doing that, you can tell me if you was to host a dinner party tonight and you could invite 3 famous people, past or present, to feed, who would it be? Go for it.
Well, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
All right. So
Well,
I think I'm just going to start by doing that, and then
Oh, you've done this before, haven't you?
I like a little bit of head on, man. So
yeah. So think about these guests at your dinner party.
So I think that probably do.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, actually. Yeah, pretty good. Bob's, the landlady's looking now. You're wasting a beer.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
Now I've ruined it.
No, mate, plonk it on, mate. It's not bad, actually. Go on.
It's been a long time since I poured a pint.
There you go. Obviously done it before. So,
I was doing so much better until I...
Ben, dinner party. We've got 2 minutes left. We've got 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left. Okay, all right.
3 famous people, or 3 people, past and present. They haven't got to be famous.
3 famous people.
Yeah.
Past and present. I would like to have some kind of conversation on that table. I wouldn't like everybody to be all singing off the same hymn sheet. So you want a bit of discussion in there, wouldn't you?
Come on, be radical.
Be radical. I'm going to have to throw Anthony Bourdain in there, fresh off the bat. He's my hero. I would like to see. Let's chuck in Bob Marley, just for
Bob Marley,
to throw.
We had actually Levi Roots on this show last year, and he was a friend of Bob Marley. He was playing football with him.
No way.
On a park in London. Yeah.
Can you imagine that? And who else? One last person. Let's do somebody naughty. Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed. He liked to drink or two, didn't he?
He liked to drink. He liked to drink, and he had some awesome opinions, and he would have loved this place.
He probably would. I heard a story once when he went out for a drinking session. I think it was him and Alex Higgins. That'd have been a fun night, wouldn't it?
Man, can you imagine that?
Yeah, I can imagine that. Dangerous. Ben, thanks for your time.
Yeah, it's been lovely meeting you.
That's On the Port with Ben Harris. What a great night.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thanks for joining me on Lee Anderson's Real World. It's been another great show, some great guests, more of the same next week. But coming up next, we've got Friday Night with Matt Goodwin.
Well, we've got a great show tonight. We're going to be looking at those bombshell population figures which dropped this week. We're also going to be looking at what on earth is going on in our prisons with the number of foreign criminals now reaching a record high. We're going to be looking at what on earth is going on there. Plus, we're going to be looking at Labour's new disinformation unit, which has drawn a stark response from America this evening. And lastly, I'll be talking to the Reform Party's Layla Cunningham about that confrontation with London Mayor Sadiq Khan. See you in a few minutes.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed heat pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Evening, welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. The next few days offer, well, classic changeable summer weather. Some fine conditions for most of us through tomorrow. A bit of rain heading south on Sunday, and then we're keeping our eyes on a storm developing for Monday. Through the day today, we've seen the odd shower here and there, but tending to clear away. Some thicker cloud bringing some patchy rain across Norfolk and Suffolk through the early hours, but most places will be dry and a cooler night with temperatures in rural areas dipping to single figures, most towns and cities 11 to 14 Celsius. So, for many places, it's a good-looking day on Saturday. Still a bit breezy along these North Sea coasts, but not as brisk as the winds have been through the day today. Still the chance that that breeze could bring 1 or 2 showers across the far northeast of Scotland, but most places will be dry. A fine bright start for Northern Ireland. We'll cloud over here a little bit as we go through the day. Sunny spells for Northern England and Wales. Again, across East Anglia, the small chance of 1 or 2 very light showers through the day. But for the most part, dry, bright, some good spells of sunshine coming through as well. Feeling a little fresh first thing in the morning, certainly, but with the help of a bit of sunshine and with the winds being lighter than today, it'll feel quite pleasant, I suspect, by the afternoon as temperatures get up into the high teens and low 20s, 23, 24, likely across parts of the south. As I say, with those lighter winds, feeling warmer than today on the east coast. In the northwest, it will cloud over a little bit, and we are going to see some rain pushing in here through the night, making for a damp start for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Pretty quickly, though, that rain pulls away from here, spreading into Northern England, Wales and the Midlands by lunchtime, and then parts of East Anglia and the southeast, although the far southeast may stay dry until quite late on. That's from this weather front. That clears through, and then look at this. This is a developing area of low pressure, named Storm Floris by the Met Office. We're concerned about the winds on Monday, particularly across northern Britain. Unseasonably strong winds that could cause some significant disruption. Stay up to date with the forecast this weekend.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed heat pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Let us take on some of your financial stresses and pay your mortgage or rent for the next 12 months. We want to give you a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an unbelievable £20,000. We'll also boost that by a further £5,000, so you really could have some fun in the coming year. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal